Exposure?
Yeah. So you got sunburnt yesterday by like what, 15 minutes in the sun? Maybe.
Shut up. My legs don't see the sun a lot.
Maybe.
And they're fine today. It was just like a few minutes of red.
I'm turning this up. I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like really close.
No, I think it's like just the feedback of it, but it's fine.
Listen, it's been a minute. We'll get back into the groove of things.
Shut up. Welcome in season 3, episode 101. I'm your host, Ripley. That's Jordan over there. We've got some videos going on today. Hopefully, Ripley edits it well enough that it doesn't.
What do you mean I edited it well enough? You were editing this. You're making my camera shake every time you like touch
I'm not even
desk.
touching anything. I'm just sitting here, but I'll shake it if you want. There.
It's like the Jurassic Park dinosaur.
Yeah. But I've got the Mindless. She's got the Prattles. You can tell from the face. And why you look so insulted at that?
Well, welcome back to the podcast where we talk about everything and nothing at the same time.
It's been a month. What have you been up to?
The same thing I was doing before we came back to the podcast. I've been working and doing schoolwork, and I finished writing my book. So that wasn't done last time we were at the podcast, so that's pretty cool.
It was just promised over and over again.
I would really like to publish like on March 3rd, but editing is so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
What do you mean? You just go back through and you're like, that's the wrong word, change.
No, like I'm reading and I'm like,
spell check. Boop.
I'm reading and I'm like, oh, I said like this person has this thing going on, but then in a chapter later, like the opposite thing is going on. So I'm like, there's a lot of continuity things I need to fix because I wrote it over 2 years. So there was some shit I forgot.
Oh my gosh.
And
you just never looked back at it to remember your own characters.
Well, you're not supposed to edit it as you go, but like they said, just get the book done. But
you don't have to edit it to go back into chapter 1 and be like, did I say she had red or green hair? Like, what the fuck?
That sort of stuff is fine. It's like there was one thing where I was like, oh, this character doesn't live here, but then they have a house there. So then I had to go back and be like, oh, they don't live there, but they keep a house there for visiting their family. You know, like just little things like that would bother me as a reader.
Details.
But maybe not other people. Like other people would be like, whatever.
People with autism. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Or like the author I'm reading right now has so many errors in their novels. And like the book I'm reading by them right now they keep going like B brother instead of just brother and things like that where I'm like, it's clearly self-published, but it's a good story, so I keep reading it. But other authors I would not give that chance. So
you're just like, I want the Scottish romance. I need it.
You know what? They're fun reads. They're quick and easy. And like with everything going on in the world and at work right now, I just wanted something easy to read and not like we must save the world and everything is darkness and destruction, because I read a lot of fantasy novels about wars. But it's nice to just read something fun and quiet and everything like that. My light just died.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I was like, where did it go?
Oh, it's fine.
I guess I can always turn this one, but
nah, it's fine. You should. Nah, it's fine.
Nobody wants to see me anyways.
Yeah.
All right, well,
an amazing story. The best thing that's happened to you in the past 4 weeks.
Finishing the book is probably.
All right, well, that's cool too.
I will say I'm really enjoying grad school. Yeah. I think it's made me feel a lot more confident about my writing. Because I told Jordan this, but
because you were reading what other people were writing, and you're like, "Man, why do you own a keyboard? Who gave this to you?"
Not that bad, but sometimes I'm reading my classmates' work, and I'm like, "This is graduate level work."
Yep.
I guess I just expected too much out of other people.
Yep.
Oh, somebody's calling me. I'm ignoring it. I put my phone in personal. I don't know why it even showed me that. So
probably whitelisted. I don't know.
I think it's Walgreens because their automated system has an issue with my prescriptions. So like every other day they'll be like,
the worst automated system.
Yeah.
They call so much. You have one prescription, they'll call 6 times.
Well,
when I was picking up your prescriptions, I went up there and the guy in front of me, he wasn't even there for a prescription. He walked up to the desk and he said, "Yeah, my wife picked up her prescription a week ago. You've called her 6 times. Stop calling her. She has the medication." And they're like, "Well, it's automated and our system shows." And he's like, "I don't care what your system shows. Turn off the automatic phone calls because we've tried it twice on our end and it's not working. I picked up the prescription. She's taking her meds. You're not a fucking doctor. Turn it off."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah, so my issue is that I tried to use their automated refill thing a few months ago.
Yeah, mistake.
Through the app. And it keeps just telling me, "Oh, there's a delay with your prescription. There's a delay with your prescription." So finally I went in and I asked one of the pharmacists about it. And they were like, "Yeah, that thing doesn't work. Just ask us to refill it for you." Yeah. But now I keep getting phone calls that are like, "There's been an issue with your prescription." And I'm like, "Shut up. I have my medication. Mm-hmm. Leave me alone, please." It's not great.
Yeah, no. I've had issues. I've only ever picked up like one prescription from them.
Sorry, I just got a text. "Hi, this is Walgreens located at this location."
Yep. We have drugs for you. That's cool.
Why is the robot texting me?
It's cool, Walgreens. That's cool.
You got any Valentine's Day plans?
Valentine's? No. No. I'm going to be asleep the whole day.
The whole day.
The whole day. I'm going to sleep until like 15.
If the audience sees my thumb, it's just me getting rid of Walgreens because they're annoying.
Or you could just not touch it and it'll go away by itself.
I could just not touch it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Turns out it works just the same.
Well.
Like many of the problems in your life. Actually, I'll take that back. Unlike many of the problems in your life, this one can't be solved by ignoring it. Smatty, feel called out over there?
Listen.
That's what I thought.
You know what? One good thing about adding video is now they can see when we just take a second to be like, because I make a lot of faces at you, I feel like, when we're recording.
Yeah, I have to edit them out because in just the audio version, it's just silence for like 3 seconds.
At all,
like, I don't know what to do.
But I'm excited about the new season.
Yeah. I'm glad I got my phone fixed because the front camera broke, as you are aware, but others may not be.
Oh, yeah, that was in our little break time, huh?
Yes, our little break time. To quote Friends, we were on a break. And if you haven't seen Friends, that's fine. You're not missing much. But so I had to go up to the Apple store to give them my phone. And they were like, "Come back in 2 hours at this time." And I like wearing watches, which is generally good for me because it comes in handy, especially when they're like, time. "Take your phone." And I was like walking away and just thinking, I don't know a lot of other people that wear watches. So like, how would you know if 2 hours had passed? Would you just have to go around asking other people who have their phones?
I guess just note the time and go to a restaurant or something. I don't know.
Sure. Noting the time doesn't do you any good. Be like, "Yes, it was 7 when I left, so now it is."
And it's not like they can notify you when the 2 hours has passed.
Right. He was just like, "Come back." I went over and got just dinner at a restaurant nearby. And
what restaurant did you go to?
It was Grimaldi's, the
pizza place. That's
pizza place.
Okay,
over nearby there.
Mm-hmm.
Really good pizza. I'd go back there again. It was. So
I know
good.
they used to bring us
whole pizza
when
and
I
was like,
there.
"Oh." I was like,
"How
"Man,
big
I'm
of
not
a
that
pizza?"
Hungry. I think it was like 12-inch pizza. It was a good size where I was like, "Oh, I'll have food tomorrow." I did not have food tomorrow. I didn't have food the next day. I had none. There was none left. I just got like it was like pepperoni, sausage, and then I had them add garlic to it, and it was so good. Now, the pizza came out, and I still don't have my phone. So, it's just facts of life. So, I'm just staring at people and things because my table's not that interesting, and I was alone. So, which by the way, I feel like the servers are like hostesses at restaurants should be a little nicer when you walk in and they're like, "Oh, for how many?" And you say 1 and they're like, "Oh, okay. Where do you want to do you want to sit or like do you want to just like walk away like a loser piece of shit? Like what do you
They're like, "Oh, nobody wants to come and have pizza with you, you fucking loser."
Yeah, and so I was like, "All right." So I went over and sat down. The bartender who was also serving that area, she came over and it was her birthday because she had a little pin that said birthday. And I was like, "Man, I'm sorry you got to work on your birthday, but happy birthday." And they were like, "Yeah," they're super nice. Anyway, tipped well as a side note, not for the birthday thing, but why not? But I was just
tip well.
Nah. You should not always tip well.
Unless
you should
they
tip
really
well for
suck.
good service. If they suck, no. If you walk into a place and you have to go order like up front and then ask you for a tip before they've made the food, brought you the food, given you anything, I always am like, you know what? 5%
I do think like
max.
tipping culture has gotten so out of hand because like you'll be picking up something and they're like, "Do you want a tip?" And I'm like, "You didn't do anything. You just made the food."
Yeah, the people up front
That's your job.
literally are just taking your order. And they're like, "Would you like to tip?" I'm like, "Not particularly, no." Like, what are you going to do? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, so I was sitting there with lots of time as time passes. I feel like it went by faster without my phone than anything. And it's very stereotypical, but I was walking around outside just without it and just staring at people. And a lot of people just walk around staring at their phones. It's kind of crazy. I'm like,
I tend to people watch when I'm walking around, like, if I'm sitting down and stuff, obviously I'll be on my phone, like reading,
right.
But I'm not like the kind to like have my nose stuck in my phone when I'm walking and doing stuff. And I do the same thing. People watch.
That's because you're already you're like very clumsy. If you had a phone in front of you, there'd be no telling how many cars would be crashing.
No, it's like, in high school, I used to walk home from school reading a book, and it's like, I could read that book and navigate the streets, not get hit by cars and stuff.
Navigate the streets.
But now I'm like, this is the same brain I used to read 30 books a month with. Like,
did you see? I saw a post on Reddit from a teacher, and she's like, "Yeah, I was standing up front, and the class asked me how many boyfriends I had, and once I counted past 5, someone in the back of the class yells, 'Damn, she made for the streets.'"
Oh, I saw one today, and it's not funny, but it's like funny because it's like this teacher was like, our next generation of students are doomed, right?
Yeah.
So her whole class of like, I think it was middle schoolers, were telling her that slaves got paid. And she was trying to like explain to them that they were called slaves because they were forced to do the work. And they're like, "No, you're wrong. They got paid." And she's just sitting there like recording her face like, "No, they didn't. That's why they're slaves." Like, it's crazy what's going on in this world.
But while I was, I don't know about that. While I was sitting there, the pizza came out, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how pizza is. It's pizza. Flat. It's in a circle generally, unless you're a heathen. And then you
deep dish square pizzas.
And then you grab a slice and you eat the bitch. And I was like, that's how pizza is. And I looked over before my pizza came out, and there was this couple, or brother and sister, that were oddly close. And they were sitting there, and their pizza came out. And so he takes the little like pie slicer thing, and he grabs a piece, and he puts it on her plate. Oh. Chivalry's not dead. And grabs a slice, puts it on his plate, puts the thing back up there, and then they just sat there. No touching the pizza. And I was like, maybe it's too hot. They don't like it. Oh, no. They were waiting. The server came back over, and I guess previously they had asked they needed silverware, right? So they start cutting up the pizza with fork and knife.
That's what my mom does.
And they'll just eat it, and I'm like, man, there's some crazy motherfuckers in this world. Yeah. And then my pizza came out, and I pizza'd it up, just one after another. But then it was so good, I got to slice 3, and I looked down, and I was like, oh, I'm the fool. Because it's a coal oven pizza place. So both my hands just covered in black. Because the bottom of the pizza is completely black. And I was just grabbing it up. And I was like, yep, I'm the fool here. And so I grabbed their like white cloth napkin. I'm like, oh my God.
I feel like a place like that should provide you with wet wipes. Like I've been places where they give you wet wipes with the food because they're like, we know it's messy.
My fingertips were black for like 2 days. And I was like, oh my gosh. It didn't stop me. I ate the rest of the pizza just the same. But I realized, you know what? I was the fool in that moment.
Yeah, I was like, my mom likes to eat her pizza with silverware, but I think it's because like she'll like make a pizza sandwich basically, and then cuts it because everything falls out of it. And I'm just like,
I went to lunch with my boss the other day, and he said he likes to do that too, unless there's too many toppings that you just can't get it all on like a fork or something. Then he'll just eat it, and I was like, okay.
I don't like getting my hands messy. You know?
What a lie. I have seen you ignore napkins in favor of like slurping down your fingers with your fucking tongue. Like,
well, that's when it's like a really good flavor. But like when I'm eating wings and stuff,
that's when it's a good
like you've
flavor.
commented before, you're like, oh, you're not eating these messily enough.
gosh.
Like I'll be eating ribs and I don't want to get my hands covered in the rib, you know?
Yeah, because barbecue sauce is terrible, but fucking Cheeto dust is fine.
Like I'll still lick it off, but I don't want it all over my hands, you know?
I'm not saying to fucking like ham fist a goddamn rib. Just
one of my
grab
least
it.
favorite sensations on the planet is my hands getting sticky. Like I cannot stand it.
Sticky? Oh, all right, this relationship's heading downhill.
Well, like at work, for example, if I get syrup and stuff on my hands, I have to go wash it immediately. I'm like, I cannot work like this. I cannot do it. It makes my skin crawl even thinking about it.
My hands would get dirty when we were out like camping or whatever. You know the best thing to do? Fucking grab some dirt. It works really well.
Yeah.
It's way faster than fucking soap and water. You just grab dirt and just rub it. All gone. Cool. Nailed it.
Snailed it.
Nailed it. I went to go pick up my phone, and having a watch, I arrived at the designated time. It was not ready. But,
of course.
Yeah, I walked in, and you've been in that Apple store. There's like 50 people that are working there, and most of them were just like I went over, and while I was waiting for my phone, after they told me it wasn't ready, there were 6 employees that were literally just sitting there playing with the Apple Vision Pro thing. And I was like, yeah, such hard work.
I thought they said they were going to stop making those.
I don't know. They got them on display.
Because it wasn't like a good return on investment.
I couldn't tell you. But I went in there and I walked around and there's a sign that says pickup. And I was like, I'll go to that sign since I'm here to pick up my phone. And I walked over and they were like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, I'm here to pick up my phone. And they're like, oh, what's the name? And I, being the gentleman, gave them my name. And they, being Apple employees, looked at me and they were like, no, that's not a thing. And I was like, I don't know what you're referring to. I can show you my ID. They told me to bring it because my face isn't good enough. And he's like, no, your name's not in here. I was like, well, you guys have my phones, so I don't really care if my name's in there or not. Give me my phone. And he's like, you're picking up a phone, right? I said, yep, for the 3rd time. You have my phone. I'd like it. You said it would be done. And they're like, are you getting it repaired or are you just picking up your phone? And I was like, my phone's being repaired and I'd like to pick it up because you told me to come back at this time. And that sign says pickup. He's like, oh, no. Oh, yeah, no. There's a misunderstanding. This is for like online order pickups. And I was like,
the sign doesn't say that.
I was like, that's crazy because it says pickup. And he's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, you'll have to go wait at that table over there near where the AirPods are at. I was like, just go sit at that table and hope my phone shows up. He's like, oh, yeah, that's what that table's for. And I was like, okay, that's the phone pickup table, huh? All right, sure. So I go over there. I sit down. There's only 2 chairs. It's a decent-sized table, but there's only 2 chairs.
Yeah, it's like those long wood tables, right?
And there's one girl sitting on the other side of the table, and then there's one chair on this side of the close side of the table, and that's where I sat. And she's got a phone in her hand, and I was like, clearly she did not talk to them. This is where you come to pick up phones, not where you come if you already have a phone, right? So I didn't engage in conversation because I didn't want to, and why not? And so this guy finally comes out from this door that looks like it's part of the display, and they're like, it's hidden. And he comes over and he goes, oh, you guys waiting to pick up? And I was like, no, pickup's over there. This is the phone delivery pickup thing. And he didn't get the joke. He works in the back for a reason. I'll go with that. And so he goes, oh, yeah, no, we can do that here too. And I was like, all right, man, thanks. Yeah, good talk. So he comes, takes down my name. Actually has it in his system. He's got a different system.
A different system.
Yeah, I couldn't just connect them. That'd be crazy.
That'd be wild.
Mm-hmm. Talks to her, and he's like, oh, your phone is done. Telling her phone's done. But he looks at me, he goes, yours, I think they're just finishing up. They're putting it back together, but they said they fixed it. And I was like, nice. Okay, cool. I'll be here. Staring at other phones, I guess. I don't
Go look at stuff.
Yeah, and so literally, like, on the table, there's phones on display. And I was like, are they trying to trick me? Like, these aren't mine. And this lady comes over. I guess she was hiding underneath the tables. I'm not sure. But she showed up, and I thought she was just making small talk. No, she was an employee who just happened to have the world's smallest Apple logo, like on her back right shoulder. It wasn't displayed anywhere until she walked away.
Their shirts too. Like they'll have different colors every time I go in there for different things, and I'm like, whoa, why are you all in blue
there's supposed
today?
to be like different teams or different something or other. I'm like, all right, I don't like it. Today's Blue Day, and you're like, I thought it was Thursday, but my bad. Anyway, so this lady comes over. And since I don't have my phone and I now am out of pizza, my hands are bored. And so I'm tapping on the phones on the desk, like the table where I'm sitting. And she pops up and she's like, oh, let me show you some new features of this brand new phone. And I was like, oh, yes, sure. That's what I would love right now. So she takes it and she's like showing me all these different things. And she's like, and just tap right here. And I tapped on it and then the phone crashed and it went into display mode. And I was like, that was a cool button. And she goes, let's try it again. And I was like, all right, let's try it again. Why not? Good attitude. And the second time it worked. And it was about like auto Photoshop AI intelligence thing with the photos. And I was like, that was pretty cool. Anyway, and she's like, well, what brings you here? And I was like, oh no, this is the table where we wait to get phones from the back. She's like, oh, you're picking up? I was like, yeah, my phone's being repaired. I'm just not some fucking mongoloid without a phone. Like, I don't. She's like, okay. And then she walked away. And I was like, all right, that's fun. So then the guy in the back, he comes back out, gives the girl sitting across from me her phone. I was like, yeah, we just need your identity and this and that and verifying things.
You can't have my identity.
And then he's like, okay, well, we need to transfer the phone number. We weren't able to repair your phone, so we're going to give you a brand new phone.
What?
Yeah, to her.
To her. I was like, hold on. They said they were fixing your phone.
Yeah, no, he's talking to her. He's talking to her. She's like, oh, sweet, cool. Yeah, looks identical. They already transferred everything over. They just need to move the phone number over, right? And then we run into the problem of it's not actually her phone plan. It's her dad's phone plan.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
So they need him to unlock the phone number to swap it over. But it's like 9 o'clock at night, and I guess he's asleep or something. But as a side note, she doesn't have her phone because her phone is the one that's broken, and the one that has all her stuff on it is not unlocked because it doesn't have the phone number. Mm-hmm. So now she's got two phones and nothing. And they're like, do you know your dad's phone number? She's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, all right. And they're like, okay, hang on. So they leave both the phones there. They go off. They come back with like a store phone. And they're like, you can call him from this phone. It'll pop up as Apple ID or Apple Store or Apple Support or whatever, right? She calls her dad 6 times before he answers.
And that man was sleeping.
And when he answers, he's just like, I could hear it because I guess they put it on speaker for the employee to like help direct what was needed. And like the 6th time he just goes, I'm not hearing you right. Just text me. And then hung up on his daughter.
That's rough.
So she texted him. She got the number. It was all this and that, right? And then they finally got her squared away. Somebody else comes out from the back. She looks like she could work both the front and the back. She's good. She come over and she was like, hey, we fixed your phone. It's good to go. You'll need to verify it and then you set it up and blah, blah, right? So I set it all up. It works. It's good to go. But during this time, while they're waiting for the dad to find the PIN and to transfer the phone number, him and her just have to talk because she's got, Apple Store property and he's got to stand there with both the phones. And they just get into the greatest conversation, right? And it was started off like general, like, oh, the weather's nice, like small talk questions and answers and things, And then it was like, oh yeah, are you all working till close tonight? Or like, do some of you get to go home early? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm working till close, but they usually let me out a few minutes early because I ride my bike and that way they give me time to get home.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, is it a far ride? And I just want you to know, what in your mind would be like too far of a distance to bike to work?
I think, I don't know like mileage, but I think up to like a like a 20-minute bike ride, I'd be like, okay, like that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm,
Any longer or having to like bike on the highway, I'd be like, no, I'm Ubering.
Yeah, no, this guy responded with, oh, it's only 7 miles that I bike, and then I take 5 miles on the train.
Train? Oh my God.
Yeah, like he'd bike 7 miles to the train station and then 5 miles on the train to get to work. And we were like, can you... And then at this point, I'm like half invested and was like, what? Like, that's crazy. Just get an Uber or a car.
That's a long way to go on a bike.
And he goes, oh, no, Apple gives us incentives to commute to work instead of driving to work. So they give you like bonus pays. And we're like, okay. And he goes, plus I'll need that bonus pay for when I move to Dubai. And we're like, all right. I'm just kind of taking
Dubai
a
is like
sharp
the most
left
expensive
turn.
country in the world, right? Besides the UAE.
I don't fucking know. But he goes into like this whole 15-minute fucking spiel about how he has a real estate agent friend in Dubai and he's already paid most of or I guess like the taxes, and so all he has to do is save up the rest to buy the house itself, and then he's gone. And we were like, all right,
a scam.
We're like, that's cool, man.
Sounds like a scam.
I don't know. He showed us pictures of properties and whatnot, and I was like, cool, man. These are
I mean,
these are
I'm
good
sure it's really
pictures.
Has he been to the property though? Like that's
he
the
said
question.
he said he went there last summer to visit friends.
Okay,
I was like,
okay.
right.
I was like, that's different because like that first part sounds like,
No,
oh yeah,
no.
I'll sell you a property in Dubai. Like,
yeah, right. And you're like, something's off here.
You said I know like pretty privilege exists because when I hear you telling these stories, I'm like, my experiences at places are so completely different. Like the Apple store, I didn't wait for shit. No, they were like, oh no, we'll take care of it right now. Like we've got you, you know?
Well, they did that when I initially came in, but it's not like they can rush the guy putting my phone back together. Like this.
Yeah, like when I went, they were like, oh no, you wait here. Like, we'll take care of it in 30 minutes. We swear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. And they just, people bend over backwards to help me with things. And then I'll be like, oh, don't you know like when this happens? And other girls I'm talking to will be like, no, that never happens to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Heck, that's crazy.
But then it's a good power because then like if somebody else,
it's a good power.
Because if somebody else is getting ignored, like because I'm a nice person, I'll be like, why are you treating me like this? Like why wouldn't you help that person too? You know, like I can stand up for other people.
You're nice. That's why they do it. I just want you to know, audience, before we started, she was setting up the camera.
Oh my God,
she was like, don't worry, it's perfectly framed. And I walked over and the whole frame was just boob.
It was not boobs. My head was in the top frame.
Barely. Your head was like skirting the top.
And this is in the bottom frame.
No, it was not. It was right on the chest.
It was not.
It was. I proved it to you. There's little squares.
Why don't we just give the audience what they want?
Huh? That's crazy. You know what? This is going to be easy. I'm going to delete my footage. It's just going to be only you. So that during my story, it's just going to go to footage of you going,
yeah, your 30-minute long story.
30-minute nothing. It was like 10.
20.
Yeah, whatever.
You were talking the whole time. I was like, it's fine. I don't have much to say because I've been working and doing schoolwork and everything that I can come up with from stories online, like when we normally do science and stuff news, like all the news right now is just like bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff. And I'm like, I need a break.
Dude, I got some more things then.
Yay.
I was a different work trip, same area. I was checking into this hotel. She's like, "Oh, do you prefer the second or third floor?" And I was like, "Second floor, I guess." I don't.
A room is fine.
It's not gonna affect me. Second floor. She goes, oh, "Okay, it's down that way. The elevator's on your right." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good." Walk over there. Elevator closes. Starts moving's a word, and it was more like you know how old roller coasters, it like clicks as you're going up. Mm-hmm. It was like that, except just straight up. It was like click, 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 click.
That's not what I want in an elevator. Like, are we on the Tower of Terror right now?
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's the safety mechanism engaging, like when you click past a certain thing, but at the same time, you don't normally hear it being used as actively. And so I had time to kill, was looking around. And I looked up at that, you know, that sheet that's required to be in every elevator in America. Yeah. And I looked at that and I was like, man, I'm going to take the stairs the rest of my time here.
What did it say?
Because I was there for 3 days. And it was like, don't worry, this elevator passed inspection in March of 2020. And I was like, oh, good. It's only 2025.
And a COVID inspection at that.
I was like, time to walk away. So I finally made it to the second floor, got off, took the stairs the rest of the time.
Yeah,
didn't even try it.
I feel like elevators can be so scary.
Yeah.
Especially in movies, they always show them like falling and stuff, and it's like, oof, not for me.
It's not the worst elevator I've been in, but it was up there. The worst one was in Africa. And it was an elevator that was smaller than this table. Like it was like you were standing in like a mine shaft.
One of those old like single box elevators.
Yeah. And so it was me and like 3 friends, and we come up to this elevator, and it opens because the door is a normal width, and then it opens, and you're like, why is half of the doorway wall and then a small box inside? And we looked, and we were like, well, the stairs are locked, so I guess we're taking the elevator. And so all 4 of us get in, because the elevator took 15 minutes to get there. So we were like, well, I'm not waiting for you for 15 minutes or 30 minutes on the next floor. So the 4 of us get in, and after the first person gets in, the elevator and the floor were like level with each other. And then the first person got in, the elevator was going down. And then the second person, the elevator went down. And then the third and the fourth, and the elevator was down. And we were like, okay. And we hit the button, and the elevator say a similar thing, except really creaky. Just we got up all the way to the top. We went up 7 floors in that elevator. We got out of the elevator, and on the way out, on the 7th floor, there's a sign that says weight limit 150 kilograms. It's about 300 pounds, just so you're tracking.
That's like...
And that's...
1.5 of you.
Yeah. There were 4 of us on there. And we were like, wow, we'll take the stairs down. So we do whatever. We had to call the desk to get them to unlock the stairs, because just
be like,
wasn't...
listen, we're some big motherfuckers. Let's take the stairs.
I was like, that one was scary as fuck. That was.
I can't think of a scary elevator I've been in besides the Tower of Terror ride. Like,
that's not an elevator. That's a ride.
I don't.
And you're sitting down and strapped in.
I don't like it.
Crazy. I came back from work the other day, and I saw the best reason to not be in the gym. So we usually go to just our apartment gym. Yeah. It's close by. It's got enough where I can get a decent workout and not have to drive 20 minutes to an actual gym, you know. Now, the problem is I like to go after work because I've already been, like sweating throughout the day or doing whatever. So I'll just go to the gym quick and then come back and shower and whatever. Well, if I get home early enough, it's right after the high school lets out. And they just love to go in there and pretend that things are heavy, I guess. And that's what they do. And normally it's just filled with them, and it's hard to find a machine that'll be decent. So I just don't go. I wait till later.
The football team is there or something?
No, not even that. They're not big enough for that. But this time it was great. There's a punching bag in the gym. I don't know if you've used it.
No, I've seen it though.
Okay. Well, this is what happened. I backed into the parking lot, and I could see the gym like through the windows. And I was like answering some work texts and things on my phone before I went upstairs. And I looked over, and I noticed the lights in the gym were off, but someone had brought in a strobe light. It was just strobing like the whole gym.
I think I saw that the other night.
I was like, okay.
I just thought the light was broken.
No, it was coming from like below. And so then I...
Sorry, did you hear that?
Yeah, she's always like that. So then I'm just staring, and I see one kid standing in there, and he's hitting the punching bag. And I was like, all right, just some strobe light boxing. Hot, sure, why not?
Hot new trend.
And then a second kid comes over and like pushes him out of the way and starts hitting the punching bag. And the first kid comes over and like grabs him, and then they just start wrestling. I'm like, all right, man. Yeah, strobe light gym fight time. Sure.
Okay.
Guess I'll be by later when shit's a little more normal. That's cool.
You about to start making out? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, they were like grappling each other, and like I was like, okay. And by this point, I had gotten out, and I was walking past the gym to get to the mailbox, and I just saw them, and they were full on like on the floor, and you're like, damn, y'all could be auditioning for like fucking porno right now.
Yeah.
Like this is. I was like, no.
Strobe light's a little concerning.
Like besides the fucking wrestling, they were like they was grabbing and shit, and I was like, nope, man. I walked away. Don't know what that was about. Don't want to know. I'm good with it. Don't.
They're probably those two friends that are like, no, we're just really close.
Yeah.
It's not gay, bro. I swear. What's a little making out between friends?
Yeah. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed episode 101 and the waving waggly arm inflatable tube man.
I'm sorry,
over there.
I gotta stretch, and now people can see because I'm on camera. But like, I have to stretch all the time. My arms feel like, ugh.
Do the outro.
Well, this has been another episode of Mindless Prattle.
I already said that.
Welcome to season 3. We are obviously trying to do some upgrades, getting video going, working on publishing the book, all that sort of jazz. So we hope that you like what you heard. If you did, please follow us. Give us a listen. We're everywhere. Sometimes you look at me when I'm doing the outro and I'm like, stop it. He's staring at me like a cat. But I'm Ripley. That's Jordan. We'll see you next time.
See, that contradicts because I said I was Ripley at the beginning.
I'm sure they understand that I'm Ripley based on the voice alone, but...
what are you talking about? This is the first thing that's ever happened.
Ever? In the history of ever?
Yeah.
Year 1. You've heard it here, folks.
What? No, we started 0. We're a programming household.
You've heard it here, folks.
It's a programming household, all right?
All right. Well, goodbye, y'all. Have a good day.